I can't be the only one who's noticed CNN has kind of been on their period these past couple of years. I mean, never has a news network gotten so angry over being called fake news while also doing so many things to earn them that title. I'm pretty sure it's only a CNN journalist who will wake up at 10 a.m. on his day off, spend the entire day watching Orange is the New Black while eating ice cream, and then just completely crap himself when he finds out Trump drinks 12 Diet Cokes a day. CNN truly has become one of the biggest laughingstocks and one of the biggest victims of so many ruthless memes in a catastrophically short amount of time. With constant attacks from Trump, CNN's ratings are in a nosedive. There are times I wonder, why doesn't CNN just give up? Why don't they just screech their last screech, lie their last lie, and throw in the towel? This, however, got me thinking, why don't we leave CNN in 2018? Let's start the year off with no more period blood. I originally had a video idea where I discussed things we should leave in 2018. But as I looked at my list, CNN, furries, vegans, Christine Blasey Ford, I realized CNN is easily the most destructive thing on this list. They had an epic fail right at the end of 2018, and not even 2 weeks into 2019, CNN has already had another hilarious fail.
They don't fly on broomsticks. They tend not to be bewitched. Donald Trump.
You know I call it a witch hunt. And it is a witch hunt.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it was the final month of 2018. For once, everything was just a little less miserable because Christmas! Like taking years of untreated depression, complete and utter hopelessness, and a general disdain for the world, and masking it with Christmas lights and cookies. But then little old CNN had to come along and shatter my brief bubble of happiness. They decided to run a segment on why literal witches are offended with Trump's use of the term witch hunt.
Modern-day witches are hard to categorize.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Are you a witch?
I'm a practicing witch. That's how I make my living, yes.
Well, I must say, this is some hard-hitting reporting, CNN. High school principal shouts at Skype call on laptop. That's what I call quality. In all seriousness, I just have to ask, how do you make a living off being a practicing witch? Like what? Do you sell dream catchers? Do you tell teenagers at the local fair they'll live happily ever after with their crush?
Which kind of witch are you?
I'm initiated into Wicca, which is the religious side of things.
Imagine turning on your TV, you're ready to watch some manufactured corporate news TM, and then you're greeted with this random segment.
Which kind of witch are you?
This can't be real. I refuse to believe this is real. This has to be a parody or something. I just cannot fathom CNN actually putting this segment together. You know what? Forget it. I have to find out if this is real. Hold on. Let me just go to my favorite internet browser. All right, here we go. Is it real? We're gonna need a bigger wall.
Witches tend to side with liberals.
Well, let's see. Sometimes witches kill babies, they tend to screech a lot, and they're usually ugly. So it makes perfect sense that they'd side with the liberals.
And you know what they wish President Trump would stop saying about the Mueller investigation?
It's a witch hunt. That's all it is. The witch hunt, as I call it. Russian witch hunt. This is a witch hunt like nobody's ever seen before.
The author of Witchcraft Activism calls the president's use of the term
Really disgraceful. I mean, thousands of people were executed in Europe on suspicion of witchcraft.
Does anyone really care that the male witch is offended? Does anyone care that the queer, vegan, high priest of the coven of the spiral moon is angry? No. No one cares that two select highly liberal witches don't like Trump's terminology. Terminology, by the way, that's common English language. It's not like Trump invented the term witch hunt or something. My honest guess is CNN doesn't really care that much either. But typical with CNN, the story isn't really about who's offended and more about who these nobodies are offended by.
There's a lot to be offended by Donald Trump, and I think his use of the term witch hunt is very low on that list of priorities for most witches, but nevertheless, it does demonstrate his ignorance as usual.
I like how even the cam witch is like, there are better things to be outraged by, CNN. When CNN isn't making a fool of themselves by broadcasting to the world how angry and sorta angry two witches are over Trump's use of common terminology, they're making a complete fool of themselves through their hired journalists. Which is where our buddy old pal Jim Acosta comes in. Acosta is a CNN commentator and chief White House correspondent for CNN. Now, besides looking like the 7-Eleven version of George Clooney, you can usually find Acosta getting himself into trouble with Trump and making himself into a bigger clown than Jim Acosta the previous week. It all started when little Jim Jim, in all of his arrogance, decided to visit the southern border to prove there is no migrant crisis. I found some steel slats down on the border, but I don't see anything resembling a national emergency situation, at least not in the McAllen, Texas area of the border where Trump will be today. Okay, well, let's see this big proof that there's no migrant crisis.
And here are some of the steel slats that the president's been talking about right here. As you can see, yes, you can see through these slats to the other side of the U.S.-Mexico border. But as we're walking along here, we're not seeing any kind of imminent danger. There are no migrants trying to rush toward this fence.
There are hundreds of things wrong with this clip, but did little Jim Jim just prove that walls work?
Here in the McAllen, Texas area. As a matter of fact, there are some other businesses behind me along this highway. There's a gas station, Burger King, and so on. But no sign of the national emergency that the president has been talking about. As a matter of fact, it's pretty tranquil down here.
I absolutely love the smug little smile at the end of this video. He's just so ready to soak up the disingenuous liberal praise. He looks like a 6-year-old waiting for his mother to serve him a brownie, only this is a grown man waiting to be served some clapping emojis by verified liberals on Twitter. He's just so proud in his liberalism. This is his big moment. He's finally schooled those cuck-servatives. Turns out this was an absolute massacre. A mockery so vicious, struck so quickly, it was like a mass genocide of liberal smugness. It was like the Holocaust. It was the Holocausta. Not only was Jim completely mocked for allegedly showing that walls do work, but he revealed just how arrogant he is as well. Like what? Just because little Jimmy John didn't see a migrant crisis with his own 2 eyes, it means there isn't one? He doubled down on this notion when he interviewed some random resident as further proof.
And you said you've lived here in McAllen, this area, your whole life?
My whole life.
And what is your sense of the crime situation here? Is there a lot of crime?
Not at all, whatsoever.
Not at all whatsoever.
It's been a peaceful city. All the family people that know each other for generations and generations.
And are there migrants coming across the border?
Yeah,
Mexicans who come in? Do they cause a lot of crime? Are they killing people and that
No,
sort of?
No, they're not.
Well, I guess that settles it, guys. Jim Acosta with his laser vision and some random elderly man have proven to us all there is no migrant crisis. This anecdotal evidence is all we need. Nothing to see here, folks. In reality, the US-Mexico border spans nearly 2,000 miles long, and you can't disprove Trump's claims by going to one tiny portion, looking around and saying, nope, no migrant crisis here. And look, I get it. This is obviously the same logic your dad used. When your mom told him that he was going to be a father, your dad clearly looked around the room and said, well, I don't see a kid anywhere. And then he went to get cigarettes for the last 47 years. At the end of the day, who are you really gonna trust? Jim Acosta or his grandpa, or the hundreds of customs and border protection agents who claim a wall is needed? Who are you gonna believe? Biased CNN and Jim Acosta, or Obama's former Border Patrol chief who who supports the wall. In reality, hundreds of thousands of drugs pour over our southern border. Since 2009, heroin seizures have tripled, and according to Congressional Research Center, in 2016, nearly 1 million people reportedly used heroin due to the increase in availability fueled by Mexican criminal networks. According to the U.S. State Department, 600 to 800,000 people are trafficked across international borders every year, of which 80% are female and half are children. Well, I would love to see the feminists, who apparently care just so much about women, stand up and support Trump's wall. All in all, Trump's wall proposal would certainly help these gnawing issues. And listen, I'm not gonna get up here and tell you that a wall would magically solve all of these problems, because it won't. But it will certainly boost our Border Patrol agents' ability to nab or deter illegal immigrants. On top of the wall, however, I also think we need an immigration reform. Far too many times, illegals are given special treatment and rewards while the people who came here legally are ignored. This needs to change. The process to become a US citizen needs to be simplified and expedited. And at the same time, we need to build the wall. Well, I definitely like to thank Jim Acosta for proving that walls do in fact work. Thanks, buddy. Well, there you have it, folks. The failing CNN, in an attempt to rescue their ratings, decided to run a segment on witches in late 2018, and then in 2019, birthed Jim Acosta in a fresh puddle of piss. I think I speak for everyone when I say it's time to leave CNN in 2018. Please give this video a like, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks everyone for watching. Peace.